What if the biggest thing dividing us isn't our differences, but our willingness to understand them and our exposure to them? Because two people can stand in the same room, looking at the same thing and walking away with completely different experiences of the world. And yet so much of life is designed as if everyone experiences everything the same way. I often find myself wondering what would happen if we started making considerations for all people, instead of waiting to make adjustments in response to a diagnosis. Because the more we talk about difference with curiosity, kindness and consideration, the more we begin to understand the people around us. Because we're all different, just like you. I'm Chantel, and this podcast is Different Like You, where we have kind and considered conversations about being human and celebrate the many ways we experience the world. Here is something that sounds so ridiculously obvious when you say it out loud, right? Human brains are all different. Different strengths, different sensitivities, different anatomy, different ways of processing information. But yet, the world that we operate within, the society, the systems, the culture, still behave as if every brain should learn exactly the same way. I don't know about anyone else, but I have certainly experienced, and I am a person that identifies as having ADHD and autism, and I get fatigued. I think it's maybe a bit of compassion fatigue by the diverse range of days that we have to celebrate different things. All of those things need celebrating. I am not taking anything away from that. What I'm exhausted by is the advocating for the difference. I'm just tired of it. Okay, I've got compassion fatigue for trying to help people understand that every brain is different. All of our learning environments for me growing up were structured to, sit still, listen carefully, process this quickly. This is the amount of time that you have to come up with this answer and deliver it in this format. And for some people, I so appreciate that that works really, really well. And to be fair, for some days, for me, that will work well after 4 years of therapy of understanding exactly why and what I need and how to advocate for it and what the things I need to be protective of before and after the situation. There's the disclaimer. But for so much of my life, it was trying to run Apple software on a PC and it just was not happening. I was constantly working growing up so hard just to keep up with expectations and not even keep up with them, to be fair, to understand them. And I would observe everybody else in my mind around me and it being effortless for them. And it wasn't through a lack of my want to learn or for my want to be curious. It was because of the way that the learning was delivered didn't match how I was able to process information. And the story I was told by so many different people in authority, informal and formal, was that there was something wrong with me, that I lacked intelligence, that I lacked the ability to contribute, that I lacked social awareness, that I wasn't able to understand how to perform a task. I am so glad that I didn't listen to them. I heard them and I believed what they said. I feel shame that I did believe them because they were not deserving to hold that much weight in a belief in my life. But I'm so grateful that my ADHD was like, we hear you, but we're just going to side quest over here. But it also helped me understand that those beliefs that I had developed through other people's opinions really formed my life. And that is why I think it's so important that we have kind and considered conversations about making considerations for all people and not adjustments in response to a diagnosis. Because some brains process information visually, some through a conversation, movement, pattern recognition, curiosity, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think we've struggled for a long time and we've allowed assuming that if someone struggles in one learning environment, that they're a problem and that they will have difficulty in every learning environment. And it's not true. The answer is really simple. The environment hasn't been considered and doesn't allow for enough flexibility. Now, I get it. We're like, well, we, have a school system that's designed around 9 till 3. Yeah, I hear you. Curious then why, as a society, we also developed a work culture that was 9 till 5. What genius made that okay, and why do we still strongly sit in that space? It's 2026. Research into executive functioning shows that learning relies on several cognitive systems working together, and they will all develop differently in people. So our ability to regulate, to recall our working memory, to plan, they're different for everyone at each age and stage. So the same environment can't afford an expectation that will be manageable for one person will also be manageable for the same, and not actually maybe completely overwhelming for someone else. We are responsible for leading with curiosity. Studies into neuroscience tell us we have the information that curiosity is an important link, and that in remembering the information and being able to learn and put it into practice. Basically, when we give more of a shit about what we're learning, we learn more effectively, right? Does that mean I expect that in a classroom, one kid's learning maths with Pokemon, one's learning with, Bluey, one's learning with tech decks? I don't know. But how can we develop a way, even in the workplace, for learning to be multimodal and that to be the baseline, not what adjustment do you need because you have a diagnosis. Let's design the environments that work for multiple learning styles, and people don't have to be exhausted advocating for themselves, because guess what? If you have somebody that doesn't have a diagnosis but benefits from that, they might not even know. When we have one learning style that we are measuring success on, if we are designing learning environments or work, organisation, systems and business that only work for a specific learning style or type of person, we are not measuring intelligence, capacity. We don't get a broad data set. What we get is an understanding of how compatible they are with the system. It's a bit like everyone having the same pair of shoes and being surprised when some people can't run as well as we need to be making considerations as opposed to adjustments. When we allow for flexible systems, we allow for people to learn about themselves. I really encourage you today to take note of something that you have learned in a way that maybe you didn't expect. If you want to talk more about this, please reach out. It is okay for you also to disagree with me. This isn't about me, preaching my opinions as fact. This podcast is exactly what I want to see more of in the world. Considered conversations about genuine inclusion, being kind and being human. So I urge you to go throughout your day being kind, being curious, and staying open to learning. If this conversation made you pause, think, or see the world a little differently, then it's done exactly what it was meant to do. None of us are given the gift of knowing everything. The real gift is our ability and our desire to learn. We can learn from people, from their stories, from their experiences of the world. And honestly, I feel incredibly privileged when someone takes the time to share theirs with me. Every perspective helps us understand the world a little more. The more we talk about difference, the more we learn to understand each other, and maybe that's how we build a world that truly considers everyone. I'm Chantel, and this has been Different Like You. If you'd like to learn more about the different things that I do beyond the podcast, you can find everything over at chantelpointer.com. The link is in the show notes, and until next time, be kind, be curious, and always be open to learning.